Give me like a good walk with some attitude. All right? Go. Come on back. You're walking beautifully.
Thank you.
Really, really nicely. Great. Come on in. You're 20 now.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about, we first met when you were 3 years old. It's amazing. You came in with your parents and your grandma.
You know.
And your grandma was like, she was advocating for you. She's like, go, go, go.
Every visit.
Yeah. Gabrielle was a 3-year-old girl who was born with achondroplasia. Achondroplasia is a type of dwarfism. And, you know, there are a variety of things that are associated with achondroplasia, but the most dramatic thing is extremely short stature. Her predicted height, based on calculations right then and there, was about 3'11". Now, 3'11" is really short and difficult height to navigate in our society. Our society is not really designed for adults that are less than about 5 feet tall. And that goes for everything. It goes for chairs, countertops, the ability to drive and be able to reach the pedals, and the ability to drive and to reach the steering wheel. I basically, at that point, charted out for them a plan, a 10-year plan.
I was 3 years old when my parents started looking into limb lengthening, and I'm not even sure if they knew it was a thing, but they saw it on a Barbara Walters special, and then they had looked into it, and they found Dr. Rozbruch, and I started coming for visits, and after that, like, we started working together.
So at the age of 3 is too little, but what we can do for patients with achondroplasia is we can do a number of staged lengthenings to get them to a height that puts them into a place where they're more functional. They integrate into society better. So here was the plan. Step 1, at the age of 7 or 8, we were going to do a 2-inch lengthening of the femur and the tibia. And we were going to correct any alignment abnormalities that she may have had, because patients with achondroplasia dwarfism often have bow legs. And then at around the age of about 11, we were going to correct and lengthen her lower legs. And then we were going to do the arms, because they have short arms and they have difficulty with reach. And then we were going to come back as a teenager and do one more lengthening on the femurs. And so this plan was going to take us from a predicted adult height of 3'11" to an adult height that was 4'9", approximately a 9 to 10 inch lengthening. And that puts her in a different place.
It was totally my decision. Just the little things like reaching this or doing that. It never stopped me from, my height never stopped me from doing what I wanted. I really always tried new things. I played sports from basketball to softball and volleyball. I was always athletic, and even though I was shorter in all those games, it never stopped me from blocking the biggest person. And I always wanted the surgery because it just made little things so much easier. I was never able to reach the cabinets in my kitchen, and now I can do so many things without having to struggle. My biggest dream was to drive, and now I can drive a regular car without extensions in a regular seat. I drive all the time. I love driving. I drove here today.
Okay, good. Bend your knee. Straighten it out. Oh, you really got beautiful mobility of your knee. And flex your ankle up and down. Great. And then let's look at this one. Straight and bend your knee. Gabrielle and I became buddies. I mean, she doesn't remember a time without me. We met at the age of 3.
Dr. Rozbruch is an amazing person, and I really can't picture anyone else doing what he has done for me.
She's been a great patient. She's super motivated, even as a little girl, very organized, very determined, not a complainer, and she had this inner strength, and she knew that she wanted to get this done. I mean, oftentimes her parents were more squeamish than she was.
Coming to visit, like, for my checkup, it's just, I look forward to coming. He's one of the sweetest people, And I really thank him for everything he's done for me. I can't picture my life without him.
And we went from one surgery to the next, and it seemed that psychologically she actually got stronger with each procedure that we did rather than getting weaker. So this is Gabrielle with her dad. She's 7 years old, and we're about to do surgery number 1. These are the x-rays that show everything in place. She's got a little bit of a bow leg deformity that we're going to correct as well at the same time. So surgery number 1 was to do lengthening of the femur bones and the tibia bones. And you can see we used external fixators on the femurs. These are called monolateral rail frames, and these are circular frames on the tibias. And what we were able to accomplish was an inch of length in both the upper segment and the lower segment. And we were able to straighten her legs out. And this was very quick. She healed really quickly as a young girl. Because with bone lengthening, what we're doing is we're cutting the bone regenerates, and we're pulling the bone apart slowly as the bone is regenerating. So this is what we call the bone lengthening gap. Now this is her when she's all done and healed. You can see the fixators are off, and you can see how well healed and solid the bone is. This is her bone. Now at age 13, we went back and we did lengthening of both of her lower legs. So this is the knee. This is the knee on the left side and the right side. And so what you're seeing is a fixator and a 10 centimeter lengthening of both tibias. This is the side view showing the new bone forming, and here's a nice picture of the side view showing the bone forming at age 13. Now we've accomplished 15 centimeters or 6 inches in the lower extremities, but her arms are short. And as you can see here, you can see how her fingertips barely even go below her waist, and her upper arms are particularly short. So the plan was to lengthen her arms. This is called Humerus Lengthenings, and we used external fixators. This is her with the fixators in place. This is in the process. You can see the bones have been cut. They've been lengthened a little bit. We lengthen 1 millimeter per day. And this is at the end of 7 centimeters, almost 3 inches of new length. This is all the new bone, big column of new bone noted on the right arm and on the left arm. And this is the kind of functionality. You know, Gabrielle always went to school. She was always active. She never really took off a lot of time during these procedures. So this is Gabrielle doing her physical therapy. You can see how her arm has been lengthened 3 inches. And again, the x-ray is showing the progression of healing. So then that takes us to age 16, and we're up to do our last lengthening. Now again, you can see, this is a great picture of the lower legs. These have been lengthened 5 inches. And you can't even see a sign of where the new bone is. It's all completely healed and totally integrated. But now we're going to do a big lengthening of the femurs. And our goal is to do another 10 centimeters. And so we used a technique. These bones at that time were too short for the internal lengthening rod, just in terms of what was available. So we did a technique called lengthening over nail, where we put a rod in place and used the external fixator and lengthened the bone over the rod. And then at the end of the lengthening, which you can see here is 10 centimeters on the left side and on the right side, we then took her back to the operating room and locked the rod by putting screws in, and that allowed us to take the fixators off. And then the bone healed very quickly around the IM rods. Now she's 4'9". At age 7 we did 5 centimeters. At age 13 we did 10 centimeters. Age 16 we did 10 centimeters. So we got a total of 25 centimeters, or about 10 inches in height. And then at age 14 we did 7 centimeters in both of her arms, which is just short of 3 inches. So her current height is 4'9", and her predicted height was 3'11". This is her at the end of her lengthening, and this was her dress for prom. She sent me that picture. She was so proud to be all dressed up and going out to prom. We'll stay in touch.
Yes.
We'll stay in touch.
Thank you,
Good
Dr.
seeing you.
Osborne.
Take care. Take care, kiddo. Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
All right, say hi to your folks for me,
I
okay?
will.
And your grandma.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. All right.